In other video, we explained that the Apollo program simulated men going to the moon, but one group placed errors to denounce the farce. For better understanding, we separated the irregularities in secondary and main evidence. Now, we display more secondary evidences, initially about tire tracks. In this photo, what appears to be tire tracks really are boot prints.
Here, we show details of the previous photo. On the left side, the vehicle appears behind a kind of step. The vehicle components look like scrap. On the right side appears boot prints, aligned, like one tire track. Probably, this was the work of one artist, to denounce the farce. These photos, and the following are with NASA codes.
The photo shows different tire tracks on the soil. There is no connection of these tracks with the tires of the vehicle.
The photo is a detail, showing the tire tracks on the soil. We can see that the tracks are irregular.
Here, one tire track terminates where is the supposed astronaut, and not to the tire of the vehicle. Probably, all done to denounce the farce.
The tracks on the soil, in this photo, are mainly from bicycle tires, but there was no bicycle in the moon. All done on purpose, to denounce the farce. Photo with tire tracks on the soil. All irregular, and very different from each other.
The Apollo 14 vehicle left tire tracks on the soil, seen here. But, in sharp turns, tracks should appear, not from two, but from the four tires. We note that they must have put something white in the tracks. In this photo with a car, we can see that, in the change of trajectory, the tracks of the four tires appear on the soil.
This photo taken in 2009, at low altitude on the Moon, is another part of the puzzle, involving the Apollo program, as it is presented as proof of the going to the Moon. The Challenger descent stage is the part of the lunar module that would have remained on the Moon. Several lunar rover tracks appear. However, in some curves, the tracks of the four tires should appear, as mentioned in the previous photo. This will be more evident in the next photo. We detach two supposed tire tracks from the lunar vehicle. Even in sharp curves, the tracks of the four tires do not appear. Besides, these tire tracks suggest that the vehicle passed over rocks and other obstacles, rather than avoiding them. According to NASA, the strongest lines are from astronauts' footprints, but among the footprints shown here earlier, only the trail made by dragging the feet resembles these continuous lines. We can see in this photo that the boots sank into the soil, and the tire did not sink, even though it passed at the side. The boots left confused footsteps. There are four irregular white lines here, probably done on purpose, to show that they are not normal tire tracks. We can suppose that these are tire tracks on a local, covered with ice, in the earth.
Secondary evidence. Lights and shadows. They also show irregularities, and many observers have noticed that the photos never show the stars in the sky. This photo has 3 impressive light spots, but it is officially described as just a crater on the Moon.
Lighting predominates in this photo, and the vehicle is little visible, but the official description ignores this. On the left, The photo has two lights, and the astronaut seems to be bothered by these lights, but none of this is mentioned in the official description. On the right, the photos show an artificial lighting, seeming to fall very strong light on the soil, but with no explanation about it in the description. There are two light sources here, but for the official text, it is the sun. We see here, very converging shadows. In several situations, the shadows can give the impression of being convergent or divergent, due to distance from the observer. What draws attention here is its exaggeration, and we can admit that this is intentional.
Secondary evidence, vehicles and objects. The lunar rover, seen here, had no steering wheel. The maneuvers were done through a central handle. Note the poor overall finish.
The following photos show the lunar rover stationary, with no tire tricks on the soil, while the boot prints are visible, all done on purpose. These photos sometimes appear as details of larger photos, thus preventing deliberate errors from being noticed.
There are several footprints in this photo, but there are no tire marks on the ground. In this photo of the Apollo 15 vehicle, you can see a footprint behind the front tire, which left no mark on the soil. Besides, the vehicle's chassis is inclined forward in relation to the soil, and that the wheel hubs are different. Enlarged detail of the previous photo, showing the footprint behind the tire. In this photo of the Apollo 15 vehicle, unlike the previous photo, the chassis is parallel to the ground, and the wheel hubs are equal. In this photo of the Apollo 17 rover, the alleged astronaut's foot is sunk into the ground, and there are numerous deep boot marks, but the rover left no tire marks on the ground. The right side fender has a patch, which will be better seen in the next screen.
To compensate the lack of a small part of the fender, which would not cause any problems, a repair was mounted, in an irrational way, as seen in the enlarged detail. There is an apparatus joining the repair to the tire, which is deformed. This is another intentional mistake.
The right fender of Apollo 15 vehicles is twisted, while the left is normal. Here, the left fender of Apollo 15 has an abnormal elevation, while the right fender, which appeared twisted in the previous photo, is perfect. All done on purpose. The Apollo 16 vehicle has something like a large package, fixed to the floor. In the front rod, is tied a small package. These packages only appear in this photo, probably on purpose, as they have no utility. In these two photos, of the Apollo 17 vehicle, the wheel hubs appear different. The following is an excerpt from the video, whose title is on screen, showing that a tire almost lets go.
Seen a driver like this. Okay, when he hits the craters and starts bouncing is when he gets his rooster tail. He makes sharp turns. Hey, that was a good stop. Those wheels just locked. Mark off. Okay.
The following is a small slow-motion excerpt from the video, Missing Frames and Lunar Rover Lost a Tire, showing a scene that was deleted from the previous video, because it shows that a tire really came loose. The suits used in the Apollo 15 mission appear in the photos. The supposed astronauts wore at least 3 suits. A scrap heap on the supposed lunar soil. This is what will be shown in the next 2 photos, with the enlargements of the rectangle, pointed by the arrow in this photo, which is presented as a panoramic view of the Moon. First, we have the detail, enlarged with lines added for better visualization, without worrying about precision. Then, we have the normal enlargement, showing scraps of various parts and components. Many other areas also have similar scrap. Here is the lunar module. The bad finish needs no comment.
Secondary evidences, Moon. The photos of the Moon, of the Apollo program, show discrepancies in the surface textures. This was done on purpose, to denounce the farce. Now, we show several of these photos. Photos of the Moon with very smooth, and even polished surfaces. It is as we can see, in these 2 photos. Photos of the Moon, full of craters. There are other similar photos, published on the internet. Photos of the Moon, with a glassy appearance. The photo on the left shows the supposed approach of the ascent stage, upper part of the lunar module. Probably, all done in the studio. More photos of the Moon, looking glassy, but with different textures. In the photo on the right, the ascent stage appears, supposedly approaching the command module. In the photo on the left, the sun illuminates the Earth, but it does not illuminate the Moon, as it should normally appear. In the photo on the right, the surface looks glassy and wavy. In the photo on the left, in addition to the glassy image of the Moon, you can see the poor finish of the ascent stage, which was supposedly approaching for the lunar docking maneuver. On the right side we have a photo with the most distant Moon. The photo on the left shows the replica of the Moon in a studio. On the right is the official 2013 photo, taken by China's lunar rover U2, showing the Chang'e 3 lander on what looks like a mini moon, and presented here because it's curious.
Some websites feature photos of the Moon that NASA seems to hide. That is why they call them hidden photos. These photos feature a wide variety of colors and textures. There are also photos with pins, wrapped with wire, and photos with sticks, scattered. Instead of trying to describe what it is, let's show some photos as examples.
Photos of the Moon, with different colors and textures. These are 2 examples of photos of the Moon, with pins wrapped with wire. The photo on the right also has sticks, which will be seen more clearly in the next photos. More 2 photos of the Moon, with pins wrapped with wire. The Moon appear with different textures. 2 photos of the Moon with sticks. We can consider a stick as a small, thin branch of a tree, or bush. Note that the Moon appears with colors and textures different. These are 2 more examples of photos of the Moon with sticks. We can assume that this is a mock-up of the Moon, and that's why the sticks appear to have enormous lengths. More photos of the Moon with sticks. We can see that they placed the sticks in such a way that they became the center of attention in these photos. More photos of the Moon with sticks. Here they appear in large numbers. In the photo on the right, the sticks are mixed with shapes, which could be of objects placed there on purpose. 2 more photos of the moon with sticks. Here they also appear in large numbers. In the photo on the left, a pin is visible. The photo on the right has a dark pin, which is best viewed with the high-definition photo enlarged. See more evidence of the fraud by reading the website indicated below, or watching the next video.